It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. Windy conditions expected around 11 a.m. today with a high of 44 degrees. It's currently 37 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Down the left field line, Lofton over into the corner. Lofton couldn't get it. The Brewers will strike first. Yelich to the opposite field. He's on his way to third. It's a two-out run-scoring triple. Now Gary Sanchez will try to add on. 3-2. Deep in the left. Gary Sanchez way up, way out. Goodbye. To left. That's well struck. Lofton back. Lofton won't catch it. One hops the wall and watch Lockridge run. Here he comes to the plate, and he scores another two-out run for the Crew. Blake Perkins, RBI double. It's a 4-2 ball game. Contreras has not been retired this afternoon. Hard hit, base hit through the Toronto infield. This one played a couple from third to Rang. Right behind him comes Rengifo. Into right center field, Jake Bowers delivers a huge RBI base hit. Blake Perkins is back. Blake Perkins is there, and the Brewers win another series. 3 in a row to start 2026. Back and forth rubber match today in Kansas City, and Milwaukee holds on 8-5.
Josh Mauer, Brewers TV. Yeah, you heard that right. Josh Mauer on Brewers TV instead of the Brewers Radio Network. On a weekend that was filled with a little bit of weirdness in Kansas City. And nonetheless, another Brewers series victory. What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Monday. Inside Wisconsin Sports on your radio, on your YouTube, and on your Twitter, if you care to join us there. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Lots to celebrate from over the weekend from a Wisconsin sports perspective, at least from the Brewers' perspective, as we jump in right away, because there's a lot to cover. So let's play catch-up.
Packers.
I saw a piece over the weekend, Josh, that the Packers are middle of the pack when it comes to salary cap availability. Roughly $22-23 million in salary cap available, which is, I think, good. As Packer fans, how do we feel about having that much money? I mean, there is some comparison at the highest end where the Titans have like 63 or 64 million. And all the way at the bottom, I believe it's the Bears with like a couple bucks. And we're in the middle. How do we feel?
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because I felt like when when the Packers were making all those cuts and trimming the fat and opening up some salary cap, I was like, okay, they got a lot to work with. And then other people were saying, nah, it's not really that much. If they signed two guys here and now they're back down. So I like having a little cushion. And I don't think that Goody's done yet. So, I mean, I expect that to go away before, camp opens.
I think the cool part is the salary cap increased by about $20 million this year, and that's about what the Packers have available.
Is that
to sign draft picks and to sign more free agents and to continue to shuffle and rework contracts and so on?
How much is that in comparison to past years? Do you know? Like, is 20 million a lot?
That it went up?
Yeah.
Not sure in terms of percentage of increase or dollar amount per se, but it was a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and pretty much that's what Malik Willis is being paid in Miami, was the difference in salary cap. That is a great example of one guy reaping the benefits of an increased number. And we had a lot of conversation last week about what the schedule could look like in the NFL, maybe down the road adding an 18th game, and them as in the league owners showing the NFLPA how important it is to continue to drive revenue so that you get to make more. Fascinating concept. Increased revenue, increased pay. Fairly simple math.
Yep. Everything goes up.
Lots to cover from a Packers perspective between now and the draft. There's some workouts that may happen there soon after, and rookies and veterans and OTAs and so on. It's probably going to be worth our time here in the month of April to spend a little bit of time looking at holes and where the Packers need to address said holes in the draft and continue to look at free agency. But nonetheless, they got a couple $2-3 left to spend.
Yeah. Does it not seem crazy that the draft is in like less than a month?
It went fast.
That's crazy. I'm like,
I very much
crap. I got to
remember
put the draft
here
on
in
the
Green
calendar. What?
I remember the draft in Green Bay very well.
Yeah. Nuts.
Man, that was amazing.
That was so
Fun
good.
to watch. Fun to watch. Brewers baseball over the weekend.
Hell yeah.
Brewers.
We talked about it last week. Pitch by pitch, game by game, but more importantly, series by series. And that is exactly what the Brewers pulled out of their hat this weekend in what was a little bit of a squirrely weekend. I saw a report on Friday night that said the game has been postponed and that there hadn't been a single drop of rain that had fallen yet in Kansas City. And I went, what? Well, apparently there was severe weather on the way and they didn't see any value in starting the game, let alone trying to finish it. I feel bad for Apple TV. They had all their people there and all their crew, and that's got to be a bummer when you go to cover a game and have a plan and there's literally nothing, because the rest of the games all weekend long were on Brewers TV. You shook your head like, I don't feel bad.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him, but also like this is baseball in at least half of the cities that teams call home. Put a roof on it. Then you don't have this problem. You know, it sucked. Let me tell you, there was, I don't know what it was. Busy weekend, absolutely busy weekend. But knowing that there wasn't Brewers baseball on Friday night, I was bummed. I was like, want to watch a game tonight. I'm itching for some Brewers baseball, especially with the off day the day before.
It did change my Saturday. We heated the garage, invited the neighbors and some friends who are neighbors and friends alike, and we sat in there and we watched the Brewers. And then we put up another TV in the little setup that we have, and we put on the Brewers on the little TV and watched the NCAA Final Four on the big TV. And then we swapped in between games. And we had food and drink, and we were merry. And it was great because although the Brewers split that day, they won the series yesterday. Were there pieces over the weekend in regard to the Brewers, Josh, that you were like, hey, that's good. This is good.
Oh, there were plenty. I mean, the Brewers fought back and still showed who they were, even in the games they lost. And I know already there are going to be people that are going, all right, so is Sproat a problem? And I'm going, all right, let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes. Everything.
Pump the brakes on what? What could you possibly have not seen over the first two starts in Sproat's career to go, yeah, I don't know if he's a problem or not. He's a problem. That guy's a problem.
Okay. So you don't think that it's anything about like him being a rookie settling in, that it's going to be.
That doesn't mean it's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm saying people are saying problem is in send him back down, get him out of here. I don't think that needs to be the case yet.
Does he look ready?
I trust Pat Murphy to figure it out, and if not, then time, but not yet.
That's interesting you bring that up, because there was a piece from over the weekend where there was actually an argument between the front office of the Brewers and Pat Murphy on whether there was a particular player ready to bring up or not. I wonder if Murph thinks Sproat's ready and the front office doesn't, or if they're on the same page. I was surprised to hear that Murph needs some convincing every once in a while to bring a guy up.
Do you remember who it was that they were arguing about?
Wish I could.
It was not Sproat.
No,
I just want to make that known for the record. It was a player who did well. I just want to put that out there. It wasn't Sproat. But I think that I trust this team.
Who's
And
Garrett Mitchell.
there it is. And I don't think, man, is he doing well? I think that maybe the fact that they still won the series makes it an easier pill to swallow. But, I love that the bats are stepping up when they need to. I mean, they're putting up runs. Good. Just keep coming away with wins. There are going to be series where it's all on the pitching. There are going to be series where it's all on the bats. Seem to be a little bit more on the bats this time around.
Garrett Mitchell's bat was out of its mind.
Yeah.
5 RBIs in the first game on Saturday. The Brewers won 5-2, as in like Garrett Mitchell 5, Royals 2.
Exactly. Love
Not
that.
so good on the pitching in the night game on Saturday. Sproat didn't start because they had the 27th man up, and Murph was very much wanting to use that 27th man. He said when you got him, you got to use him. And so a flip of a switch, Logan Henderson starts, pitches 2 innings, gives up 3 hits and 2 earned runs. Then Sproat comes in, and that's when it continues to fall apart. 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Koenig came in, DL Hall to close it out. The Brewers lose game 2, but then come back yesterday and win the 3rd game in the series. And the series overall, that is 3 series in a row that the Brewers have won, and they now ship off to Boston, who are 2-7 on the year. Derb got a hit. He's off the schneid-ish.
Whew.
Yeah.
Glad he got that one out of the way. He can go back to the Offers as long as the Brewers are in town. But
William Contreras, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you talk about pitching, I'm curious which people were more concerned about Sproat's performance so far, or that the Brewers could not get out of that inning yesterday. And even though they already had scored a few insurance runs, they had to score more because they let the Royals back in. I mean, what did they go through? 3 or 4 pitchers in the 7th?
Yeah, a little bit of that was by design too, to face lefty versus righty or vice versa.
But like
interesting to
Uribe
see
gave up some hits.
Yeah.
You don't like seeing that. And that was to me, that was a little bit more scary for this number 1 bullpen in baseball that's supposed to shut down. And it just seemed like there was momentum going for the Royals that the Brewers couldn't stop.
Bryce Terang looked a little scary over the weekend. Not himself at the plate, but luckily Christian Yelich, Garrett Mitchell, William Contreras all had a really good weekend at the plate, and that picked up where Mr. Terang left off. Nonetheless, a good weekend for the Brewers. Off to Boston they go. More on that as Inside Wisconsin Sports carries on. Oh, look, the Frozen 4 week is finally here.
I don't believe you.
Badgers.
Well, believe me, 4 o'clock Central on Thursday in Las Vegas. The Frozen 4. It will be Wisconsin against North Dakota on ESPN2. That's the semifinal, obviously. Michigan, Denver at 7:30 that night. This is the heavyweights. These are the guys that combined have the most national championships in regard to men's hockey in the history of the game. And that's good because that's what you want in the Frozen 4 or a Final Four in general, is the best of the best. And so that's what the NCAA men's hockey tournament has to offer this week. Finally, I did have a moment and go, okay, I believe we maybe found the city that Wisconsin can't drink out of alcohol. Las Vegas. It doesn't happen in other cities. Things typically trend in a direction where if there are Badger fans, there are empty shelves. I would like to see us try.
Yeah, I was going to
Las
say,
Vegas.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to buy that. I think we could.
Do you think we can drink Las Vegas out?
Yeah, I think if we put our mind to it, yeah.
Wow. There needs to be some direct flights, like for all of us. You know what? Willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'd have 2 tree. Could do it.
Hey, the Bucks won.
Yeah.
Bucks.
Okay.
They
This
weren't supposed to win.
There's a lot going on here. So let's maybe the court first. They won. Golf clap.
Yeah, they won 131-115 over Memphis, who is worse than them, tanking better than the Bucks are. So if you're a Grizzlies fan, you're not upset by that loss. But it was funny that these are the 2 teams that were facing each other after LeBron's comments, which we're going to get to in a minute, talking about the 2 cities that he doesn't really like to go to, being Milwaukee and Memphis, and then they end up playing each other. Shout out to the Bucks social media team when they put out the image, after the final, the game ended, saying, won the match between, the two best cities or something, throwing some shade at LeBron. That was cool.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. Listen, I've completely, I know exactly where I am, where I have been for the last 3 months, 4 months. I'm in the exact same spot.
Over the weekend, though. There's a few things that changed over the weekend that Giannis has to look in the mirror on.
I mean, it's another chapter. Just add it to the notes.
It's not the same chapter though. We might be in a different book. Giannis screwed up. Giannis messed up. He is in the middle of an investigation, and they found him to be in the wrong at the moment. He declined to participate in a 3-on-3, the portion of his rehab that he needs to participate in order to get back on the court. He came out and said it over the All-Star weekend. I have to check the boxes. That was when he was dealing with the calf strain.
Mm-hmm.
1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, then I'm ready to go back in. Well, in an interview over the weekend, he said that he was ready after day 2, and the Bucks were like, well, let's go through the process. And Giannis said, I don't want to go through the process. Well, then you're not going to play. On paper, in terms of the investigation, it seems that simple. Clearly, there's a lot more going on here than just Giannis not playing 3-on-3, but he brought some of this on himself. I think there's a bigger picture here of Giannis bringing a lot more of this on himself. And I also don't think that we should be surprised. I know you have questions. We'll continue to ask them, and I have questions. Well, I'm sure we're going to get a text or two on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. It got real loud and real hot in regard to the whole Giannis Bucks situation over the weekend. Let's just say there's a morning mind dump and a half scheduled later in the show.
That's true.
To try to get these things off our chest and out of our heads. But nonetheless, as we get you caught up from over the weekend, if you're not caught up on the Giannis drama between him and the Bucks and now the NBA and the Players Association and investigations and tanking, and is he ever going to play for the Bucks again? I would take the under on that. Lots more to converse about, but nonetheless, hey, the Bucks won. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, we mentioned it there. LeBron James had some issue with both Milwaukee and Memphis. He said that these are the cities that he least wants to play in. The problem is he said play, not stay, not sleep, not visit, play, which has us as Milwaukee and Bucks fans going, well, first off, screw you, bud.
Right.
Secondly, what's that about? Doc Rivers had a few things to say about this.
The way I read the Milwaukee thing, he didn't take a shot at the city, he took a shot at the hotels. That's how I read it, unless he said more about the city. It was more about where he was staying. Where Memphis, I think he talked about the city. Yeah, let's build a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton. I guess. I don't know. But he cannot be talking about the city, especially. Listen, I've lived here twice, and the progression, this city has progressed from when I was in college to now is night and day. So, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
whatever. At the end of the day, he came on to say that we should trade for him and that he was going to get fined for saying that. Please, God, no. Do not trade for LeBron.
Okay. Yeah, there's a better chance that they rename the team the Milwaukee Giannis's than LeBron ever plays in a Bucks uniform.
I got to be honest, though, the percentages of each of those things happening are quite possibly nil.
Yeah.
Does he not like ghosts or something? Is this just a Fister thing? Is that where the teams stay when they come to town?
I mean, that is where I definitely know that there are NBA players that are spooked staying at the Fister that say they will not stay there. I always thought that was kind of funny. It's like, there are other hotels. You know what I mean? Like, is the Fister going to really be hurting for money in Milwaukee if, I don't know, 3 times a year, a certain team or player doesn't stay there? Like,
it seems to be well known, though, even for MLB teams as well, to the point where some of the Brewers staff are playing certain songs to mess with guys during BP. This is not new.
Yeah, I kind of like that they play into it, though, that the Brewers staff plays into it. Good. Get in their heads any way you can.
The national championship is tonight, UConn, Michigan. The spread is only 6.5, according to the Potawatomi Sportsbook. There's a little conversation there coming up, and I have questions. Who do you got? And do you have any money on it? I may have a buck or two. I'll share that with you. And the only other piece that came out of the weekend actually happened on Friday. It's Executive Order number 2 from the president's desk trying to fix what is the NIL and the NCAA. This one took it a bit of a step farther, obviously not set in stone, but here's a quick recap as to what's actually in this order that's going to try to help.
It restricts the amount of money that student athletes can be paid. Some of them are making millions and millions of dollars now, thanks to NIL. It also, Griff, sets a 5-year eligibility window for NCAA athletes, no more than 6th and 7th year trying to come back, even 8 years, I've heard. It restricts athletes to just one transfer per 5-year period.
It also, by the way, pushes schools to prioritize women's in Olympic sports regardless of revenue.
That's huge.
It calls on Congress to pass legislation like the SCORE Act. Congress has yet to vote on this, but there's bipartisan support in both the House and Senate. And then finally, the president is threatening withholding federal funding for schools that don't comply with this. We'll see where it goes. But Kevin, it's a really important issue for college sports, and it's long overdue to be reformed.
Yeah, let's get politics involved. What could go wrong?
Perfect. Yep, that's exactly what I was hoping for.
That'll clean it up.
Yeah. Woof.
Listen, it does need to be cleaned up. I'm grateful that it's in the conversation. Are they handling it the right way? Duh, of course not. Although if it gets fixed, then maybe so.
What do you think about that idea, though? This idea of one transfer. If you're not going to stick at the school you choose, you can only move once.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest issue, actually, because the coaches are what spurred all of this along in them leaving colleges, recruiting guys, and then leaving. And so if a kid gets recruited to a college and then his coach leaves, then he should have the right to transfer, is what some people are arguing.
But he would be able to. He just wouldn't be able to then do it again.
No, the order said you can do it again. You just have to sit out a full year, kind of like the way it used to be.
Oh, sure.
Where if you transfer, you have to have a penalty per se. Stacking is what it's trying to fix. We've seen that through and through in college sports. Needless to say, it does need some cleanup, but I like the things that were in the order. I just don't know how it's fixable at this point. It's kind of like the MLB salary cap. Like, what do? You almost have to take an entire year off and flush the thing, and it's going to take a major, major overhaul. But that's the right step. 5 years, one transfer without penalty. And there's got to be a limit on what players are able to make if we're going to call this college athletics. If we're not, then listen, pull back the curtain. Forget it. Let's just make it another professional league. But they're unwilling to do that because that comes with, well, things like the Giannis situation. There's a business to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's messy. Hey, messy situations. Hey, politicians, come in here once. Kind of need your help, maybe?
No. Stay away. He's joking. That's all we need.
What was the highlight of your Easter weekend? A lot of Brewers baseball, the Final Four over the weekend. Is Jeff Levering okay? There's a lot of Josh Mauer, who's actually going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour to talk about his Brewers TV debut. And I'm reading a note that says Josh did a somersault on Easter.
Yes.
I have questions.
That is not. I thought you might.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line, off and running on a Monday. How was your Easter weekend? I have questions is next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Happy Monday, y'all. The Brewers, the Final Four. A little bit of weirdness with the Bucks. A holiday weekend. What was the highlight of your Easter weekend? That's what we want to ask here, and I have questions inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh every day around 6:30-ish, depending on the recap. We ask you on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Can we answer any questions for you with as good of a guess as we have?
We can try.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Jeff from Fox Point has a question. Who do we cheer for tonight, Michigan or UConn? I'm a Badger fan, Jeff says, so I don't like Michigan at all. However, the Big Ten hasn't won the national title since Izzo's Sparty team in the year 2000. And they beat the Badgers in the Final Four. Hurley's a pain, but one to watch tonight. He says go blue. So I question where our allegiance lies in tonight's game. I know where mine lies. Very clear. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Michigan. I really don't like Dan Hurley. I really don't like him. I also, just in general, it's not like I'm a huge fan of UConn. I mean, UConn has stopped the Badgers from cutting down nets before. Not saying that Michigan hasn't, but and I guess I'm going Michigan. I really don't care. I was completely turned off from this championship game over the weekend.
Why? What happened?
The Final Four games sucked. The
first one I thought was great.
It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic to me. And maybe I put too many eggs in the basket, Easter reference, on the second game because I just been looking forward to that Arizona-Michigan matchup since both of them went on to the Elite Eight. These two are making the Final Four. This is going to be the powerhouse. This matchup between Michigan and Arizona should be for the national championship, but it can't be because they have to face in the Final Four. That's all I was hoping. And then
thank God it's not.
Thank God it wasn't, because Michigan, Arizona was never in the game. Never. The entire game.
That was a bad one. I'll give you that. The first game was good.
It's okay.
Listen, I'm in on UConn. I don't hate Dan Hurley. He's not my coach. I have nothing to hate. I don't have any reason, any skin in the game with UConn. Well, okay, I got $20 on the game. Like, I put $20 on UConn to win it all at plus 600. I think it pays like 140 out or something like that.
Okay.
Right now they're plus 240. So before the Final Four weekend, the odds were almost 3 times as much saying they weren't going to win the national championship. If any team and any coach can find a way to shut down Michigan's bigs, it's Dan Hurley. I don't know how, but I would give him the best chance to do it.
The 912 says you want Michigan to win, so as a Badgers fan, you can say, hey, we beat the national champs that year. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Or
that is a way that people look at it, right? A lot of times the Brewers, for a few years there in a row, they kept getting eliminated by the team that would go on to win the whole darn thing. I mean, I guess they did it this last year too. So I don't know. I don't know if that's enough of a reason, but 262 goes on to say, Michigan, you got to pull for the Big Ten. I'm also not someone that looks at it like from a conference perspective.
Yeah, me neither. I don't have to pull for the Big Ten because the Badgers aren't playing anymore. And it's the tournament, not the Big Ten regular season, not the Big Ten tournament. If anything, I want Michigan to get blown out tonight just to show everyone how overrated Michigan was.
Now, that is the one thing I don't want. I would love to just have a good game. It's not having skin in it, not having a team. Everything I wanted from the Final Four this weekend that I didn't really get, that I would like in the national championship game. Have a good game, a back and forth, close game of two really good college basketball teams. I don't want to see a blowout one way or another.
I can tell you right now, the game starts at 7:50. I'm not going to see whatever the final score is.
No.
For me, it's one of those things. If Wisconsin was playing, my God, I'll sleep 2 hours. I don't care.
Sure.
But with this, highly unlikely that I'll see the end. And let's be real, this could be a blowout the other way. Like Michigan might just absolutely trounce them.
I mean, they could. That's what they did to Arizona. That's what I'm saying. If this game is anything like Michigan, Arizona, yeah, then I'm not staying up for the whole thing. Because when they're up like 20 with 12 minutes to go in the second half,
yep.
Okay, going to bed. Should have gone to bed at halftime.
I tapped out. That's exactly when I tapped out on Saturday night.
Right. I think that's when a lot of people did because it was boring at that point. Game was over.
But my buddy Matt was over in the garage. We had a bunch of people over, a bunch of friends over. It was an awesome day. Mainly because the Brewers started it the right way, not so much in the second game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great day, and people kind of came and went. My buddy Matt was over later in the night, and he looked at me and he goes, "Don't let me keep you up, man. If we don't want to watch this." And I said, "Listen, after the half, if this gets squirrely in a real hurry, then I think we're going to tap out." And with about 12 minutes left, I looked at him, and I'm like, "I'm tapping out, man. I'm out. I'm not kicking you out. I'm kind of kicking you out. I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm going to bed."
That's it.
The Brewers were a highlight of Easter weekend for sure, just based on the ability to watch two games. We had it on at our Easter gathering with family yesterday. Fun to watch. Fun to see all the people that you haven't seen in a hot minute in terms of family get-togethers for holidays. And the Brewers were on, and the ham was awesome. It was a good Easter weekend. Two more things of note here. Number one, is Jeff Levering okay?
No. Under the weather. So he will be okay.
Nasty bug.
But
nasty bug for Jeff.
And it's making its way through, right? Because of our favorites. Because, Brian Anderson missed a call in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, his was voice related. It sounds like Jeff was going through it.
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I'm saying? Like going through it. Right?
Sure.
Josh Mauer on the TV call. He'll join us in the 8 o'clock hour to talk about his big TV debut with the Brewers. But that left poor Lane Grindle on the radio call all by himself.
No breaks.
He called 3 games by himself in 26 hours. Him and Ken Sommerfeld just hanging out on the Brewers radio network. The hilarious end was yesterday after the game. We're on the way home from our Easter weekend. And Lane usually kicks it to Josh for the post-game wrap-up and recap of Brewers farm system and blah, blah, blah. And Lane goes, "All right, stay tuned for me when we come back."
Yeah, kicking it to me on the other side. I'm going to pass it off to myself.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Well, I handled it like a champ. Good for him.
Drink some tea. All right. Well, how long were you in the hospital after your somersault?
So here's what happened with this somersault thing. So we're eating Easter dinner. Essentially, the Brewer game ended, and then we ate. And as we're eating, we had Jack, 1.5-year-old, had like 4 pieces of bread and then wanted to run away. And we're like, all right, go play. And we're checking on him, and we see that he's like really close to doing a somersault. Like, I don't know. I guess just like toddlers just do it. I don't remember it with Jordy, but they're like, I'm going to try to do a somersault now. And we were like, oh, he's so close. He's so close. And that sparks this whole conversation at the table of, could you still do a somersault? And I went, at the earliest, I did one 2 decades ago. I have no reason to do a somersault. I don't know why I would have done a somersault even at 16. No clue. It's probably longer than that. And it became a thing of, can you? And I went, I'm sure I can. Come on. How hard is it to do a somersault, right? And I go in the living room and I'm in position to do it. And my body just goes, we don't know what to do next.
I don't know if this is a good idea.
What's not if it's a good idea or not. Just, okay. Tucked our head. Now what? All right, I'm like telling my body, all right, go. My body's not moving. And I'm just like,
that's because you now have to move your entire body over the top of your head,
and then literally the whole family comes in. They're all watching now. It's become this whole thing. They're like 12 people. And it was like, okay, you just need the momentum. Right. I forgot. It's like a momentum. As you're a kid, you don't think about it. You just go. You're just like, wee, and you just do it. So then I did it. I almost did a headstand, but then I was like, oh, I'm up and down. Okay. I got over.
Did you fall flat or did you roll?
No, I fell flat.
Yeah.
I fell flat. But I made it over. And it had me thinking, I wonder how many people that listen to us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. This is my question today. When was the last time you guys even attempted to do something like that? Do a somersault. Not thinking that you can't. Although, let me tell you, I've talked to a few people about this last night, and a lot of them have gone, hell no, I can't do a somersault anymore. And I went, isn't that scary? Isn't that kind of scary? If you think to yourself,
do you wrestle
you can't
with the
do
boys?
A somersault? With Jordy, yeah. Yeah, wrestle with Jordy a little bit.
So when you brought this up, I was like, God, I mean, my boys and I have wrestled on and off their entire life. Last night, as a matter of fact, we had a push-up contest. Like teenage boys in the house, there will be some manliness around of I can do that. Oh, I can do that better than you. Well, if I would have done a push-up, this is all happening in my house last night.
Sure.
Well, if I would have done a push-up with my elbows out instead of my elbows in, I would have been able to do a lot more.
Did you do a somersault?
No, I didn't try, but I'm saying I'm constantly bobbing and weaving on the ground. So like the idea of me doing finger quotes, athletic things on the ground, whether it's somersaults or push-ups or because you listed here, right? Like, can you still do childlike moves or can you do push-ups or all the things that I stretch on the ground a lot because I got some back stuff. Hashtag tall guy. I think without a doubt I could do a somersault. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Because I'm constantly bouncing around on the floor. Here's the problem. I know they're both sleeping, so I can say this because they're not going to hear it. The older one's stronger than I am now.
Oh.
And he doesn't know it.
Okay, good.
And he's definitely not confident enough to use it. But like,
or he knows it and he doesn't want to break your heart.
Right. He's no. He's 100% stronger than I am. Just he lifts weights every day, and I do not.
I want to know, like, for me, you don't need to record it. You don't need, but just for me tonight, when you're at home, do a somersault. Just do a somersault in your living room to just be like, okay, I can still do one. I go to the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. The 912 says I can do a cartwheel. I wouldn't dare try a somersault. Interesting. I could never do a cartwheel. I couldn't do a cartwheel when I was 10.
I think I would break.
15. Nope, couldn't do it. Andy in Brookfield says, my girls wanted to do cartwheels under the Gateway Arch last week. Then they asked my wife and I to do one. The video of me is priceless. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference. Cartwheels, no. Definitely out on a cartwheel.
I feel like this is one of those play stupid games, win stupid prizes things, too. How'd you end up in the ER? Well, the idiots on the morning show told me, well, try a cartwheel.
I'm not telling you to try cartwheel. I'm saying try a somersault. Try to do a somersault. Tuck and roll, baby.
Don't break your neck, please. The most electrifying sound of the day is next. Shocker, out of the Brewer game. We'll play it for you next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's the last day of March Madness, and Wendy's has the official dunks of March Madness, which means you get the iconic chocolate Frosty paired with fries. It's the perfect opportunity to dunk crispy, salty fries into a Frosty. It gets even better because when you order from the official Dunks menu, you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a variety of prizes during March Madness. Order from the official Dunks menu today. Download the Wendy's app for the official Dunks menu and a chance to win big this March Madness.
Contreras has not been retired this afternoon. Hard hit, base hit through the drawn and infield. This one played a couple from third to Rang. Right behind him comes Rengifo. The perfect afternoon for William Contreras continues. A 2-run single. The Brewers lead by 4.
William Contreras, perfect day, topped off with a 2 RBI single. Call courtesy of Josh Maurer and Brewers TV is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress, connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Man, I'm going to tell you, I love Wild Bill. I love Wild Bill, and I've been pushing it down in my heart and in my brain of any thoughts of him not being a Brewer for much longer.
He had a really good game yesterday. 3 at-bats, 1 run scored, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks. He knows how to get on base, and he knows how to move guys around. Enjoy it while it lasts. The Brewers are fresh off their first road series win of the season and now head to Boston for a series starting tonight. Get the starting lineups and get ready for the first pitch with Tommy Wartz and the leadoff show this evening starting at 5 here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. After the top of the hour, it's the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump, which this morning, as you might guess, I guess, this is all about Giannis and where we go from here, or maybe what got us here. And we want your thoughts because it does not seem to be divided anymore. At least it wasn't on the old Twitter over the weekend. This seems to be pretty lopsided, 80-20, that it's just time to end this whole thing and literally, as we're about to play, burn it down. But what got us here, and how are we going to make sure that this doesn't happen again? You have thoughts. We have access. The Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250. We want to hear from you across the state of Wisconsin here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Wausau, good morning. Get those thumbs ready or give us a call, 414-677-1250. Duluth Superior, do you guys feel this all the way up there in the northern part of the state in regard to Bucks basketball? We know you do in Milwaukee at 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. And we do a little bit here in Northeast Wisconsin, 99.7 FM, WNFL in Green Bay and the Fox Valley. But really, how does this sit with us? And are we comparing this to anything else that has happened with superstars in the state of Wisconsin before? This isn't our first rodeo with guys being very good at their sport and having the relationship with the club end poorly at some level. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Oh, sorry. I was reading these talking. I'm as you were doing that. I'm reading the talking text line, and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in the talking text line.
Well, there's a lot of people that are saying, "Hey, that's cute that you can do a somersault. Don't care if I can or not. I don't want to."
Well, and people younger than me, older than me. Ron Rome says I'm 70. I still ski. I go hiking. I'm not going to try a somersault.
I'm out on the somersault. That's because it involves your head first.
Yeah, but you're on the ground. Like I did it. I am not in shape. I don't know. Okay.
When you said you did it, it felt a little dangerous. I'm not going to like choosing to roll over your neck and throw your feet over your head. That's where a lot of people go, you know what? I don't need any tricks anymore.
Okay.
I'm good. And I would guess a lot of us don't have those young kids. Anyway.
9-2. I'm sorry, Josh. I'm not going to attempt a somersault. I would have to have the ambulance in the driveway on standby.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Gravely Zero-Turn Commercial Mowers. Partly cloudy conditions expected around 11 a.m. today with a high of 44 degrees. It's currently 37 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
Down the left field line, Lofton over into the corner. Lofton couldn't get it. The Brewers will strike first. Yelich to the opposite field. He's on his way to third. It's a 2-out run scoring triple. Now Gary Sanchez will try to add on. 3-2. Deep in the left. Gary Sanchez way up, way out. Goodbye. To left. That's well struck. Lofton back. Lofton won't catch it. One hops the wall and watch Lockridge run. Here he comes to the plate, and he scores another 2-out run for the Crew. Blake Perkins, RBI double. It's a 4-2 ball game. Contreras has not been retired this afternoon. Hard hit, base hit through the Toronto infield. This will play a couple from third to Rang. Right behind him comes Rengifo. Into right center field, Jake Bowers delivers a huge RBI base hit. Blake Perkins is back. Blake Perkins is there, and the Brewers win another series. 3 in a row to start 2026. Back and forth rubber match today in Kansas City, and Milwaukee holds on 8-5.
Josh Mauer, Brewers TV. A good weekend for the Crew, and they take their 7-2 to Boston and meet the Red Sox, who are 2-7. First pitch tonight, 5:45. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Live on YouTube, live on Twitter. Follow us there at OnAirJosh, at Trevor Thomas IW, at WI Sports Radio. Every single day on this very program at 7 a.m., we try to get the things out of our head and off our chest, and it is so important to do so on a Monday after a weekend where, Brewers did great. Final Four, decent. Bucks, what is going on with the Giannis thing? And we have thoughts, and we know you do too. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. I guess the biggest question is, Seth Rollins, should we burn it down tonight?
They counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malat Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malat Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The meat of the month, the tenderloin. Visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com and get yourself a tendy. That's my wife's favorite cut. I know that's Josh's favorite cut. I'm a ribeye guy. That'll be later. That'll be later in the summer when we can fire up the grill and not have to deal with whatever the world is going on with our weather. We just not with the cold anymore.
Seriously.
Give me the sun. Give me the warmth. Give me a Sunday afternoon with the grill out there and all the neighbors and the kids and the soccer balls. And it's a blast. Not when it's like this, though.
No, I'm ready for it.
Okay, the Bucs are not a blast right now, and there are a lot of thoughts, a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, a lot of things that we got to get out of our head and off our chest to start a Monday. And Josh, I want you to start because you are closer to this than certainly me, but really any of us in regards to how you feel about Giannis and the Bucs and the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is just another, like I said, just like another feather in the cap, another chapter in the book of trying to just get to the end of the season and figure it out. I don't, there's obviously disagreement, but Giannis has continued to be who Giannis is. This isn't new. He's competitive. He wants to play. In the All-Star game, you know, when Giannis plays in the All-Star game, he wants to go. And it was, you know, even on commentary, they were like, I don't think Giannis understands that this is an All-Star game because all the other athletes, all the other superstars were like getting out of his way, going, all right, why is this guy playing at, 90% and we're all playing at 60? It's just who he is. And I don't see that ever changing about Giannis. It's unfortunate because the Bucs are not in a position to where they need that type of person on the court right now. They need to tank. They need to lose. They need to do everything in their power to not succeed in hopes of getting a good pick and then coming back next year. They need to make some moves. They need to do a lot of things. And I don't know if that's going to include Giannis or not. Giannis being moved might be part of that. There's absolutely a good chance that could happen. It could also be that they figure it out and he signs a Supermax. Maybe he wants all the money and decides to stay here, likes how things are with his brothers. Maybe they sign him to the Supermax and then trade him. Who knows? There's a million different ways that this could go. But to me, it still feels like what this is it's another disagreement about something that gets blown out of proportions because Shams started saying, hey, did you see this? And then it got into the local people where you had Jim Ozarski and Lori Nickel, and then they're putting out their stories. And then it's, people quoting half of what Giannis said in their tweets and not the whole thing. And it's tiring. It's been tiring. And at the end of the day, I don't think any of this matters. It's either Giannis is going to make the decision or he's not. And then like when Wes Edens came out and said, hey, if Giannis doesn't sign, we're going to trade him. Well, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely. That's what you're going to do. That's the biggest no-brainer ever. Like all of this news has been no news to me. And so if there's scrums or disagreements between the team, the ownership, and Giannis, yeah, those have been there for a while. Giannis has been frustrated for a while. The team has been frustrated for a while. The fans have been frustrated for a while. We're just waiting to figure out is the solution or the attempt of a solution to fix that frustration, getting rid of Giannis or keeping Giannis and building around him again. That's it. So I've been done with it. I've been saying, just talk to me at that point. The only thing that's really irked me about this is still when people are starting to say, see, Giannis isn't the guy we thought he was. Giannis hasn't been doing this. Giannis isn't doing his part for the city. Giannis isn't doing his part for this team. Giannis doesn't owe us anything. I don't understand. Like, we could have gotten a different superstar than Giannis. We could have had someone who was really good at basketball, but hated Milwaukee, but did not want to be here, that then gets the opportunity to leave after that first contract and then talks crap about Milwaukee when they're in their next place. We're used to that. That's happened before. Not everyone that plays in Milwaukee, especially in the NBA in the history of the Bucks, has loved their time here. That's different for Giannis. And so the people that are like forgetting all that and wanting to go back to pre-2013 Bucks basketball, that's my confusion. That's where I'm like, why are you in such a rush to get back to
We're already there.
Mediocre?
That's why. We're already there. And we have Giannis. So based on everything you're saying and the notes that we wrote down as we talked about this,
Yeah.
you have a specific piece here as to why Wisconsinites who don't care about the Bucks all of a sudden now care so strongly about Giannis and the Bucks. And maybe my first question as you process here is, do you know what it means to be an unapologetic? By definition, do you know what the word means, or have you been
like to be someone that doesn't apologize?
Well, someone that does not express regret, fault, or blame, often standing firmly by their beliefs. My question is, are you a Giannis unapologetic? Is this Giannis well over the Bucks in your mind? Do you see Giannis having any fault here?
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. Giannis has faults here. This is not a Giannis is 100% right. He's handled everything 100% right, and the Bucks are 100% at fault. No. In no way am I saying that.
So why then does it bother you that certain Wisconsinites seem to care all of a sudden?
Because they didn't care before. There's listen, you said it on this show. There are a lot of people. You have people that text you all the time saying that they don't watch Bucks basketball. They could really care less. We've ranked on this show. What are the things you like to watch? Some people put NASCAR ahead of Bucks basketball. And now those people are like, man, the Bucks got to move on from Giannis. The Bucks got it. And I'm just like, but you're not going to watch. If they do, you're not going to watch because you don't care about them. So if you're not paying for FanDuel Sports anymore, you're not watching Bucks basketball, or you never did because you don't really care. You'd much rather watch something else, which by all means, I'm not telling you how to fan. I'm just confused at why now all of a sudden, when Shams and national pundits start sticking their nose and making Giannis a big story with the Bucks, that you're going, yeah, they got to move on from this guy. I can't stand this. They got to change this. Where did all that come from?
Easy answer. Wisconsin. Nowhere in Wisconsin's history have fans ever allowed a player to put themselves above the franchise. It's no different with the Packers. It's no different with the Brewers, and it's not different with the Bucks. So as all of this drama continues to play out, Wisconsin sports fans are going, enough. Just move on. Let's get our franchise back. Let's start talking about what the next phase of Milwaukee Bucks basketball is going to be, because it's not good now. The drama sucks. And from a Wisconsin sports fan perspective, any other time this has happened with Brett Favre, who was the golden child, a lot of people were like, time to move on. Aaron Rodgers, time to move on. Other people that have played baseball for the Brewers that have ultimately said, I want to go, or it's time to go, or this isn't the place for me. No different than Giannis is starting to say things like, I don't think I need to do the 3-on-3 to get back on the court. Well, you said earlier in the season that you did. Or Giannis saying, I don't want to be a part of the business. Well, that's per Lori Nichols' interview with him over the weekend. Bad news, you are. And so it's difficult for a Wisconsin sports fan to spend the money that we do, give the time and attention to sports that we do, to see this happen yet again. And it's not just to Wisconsin, but it seems to happen here more. Like there's something about players in Wisconsin, and maybe it's just us, that put so much time, effort, weight, and money into sports here in Wisconsin that has us feeling this way. But I've said this, I'm not a P1 Milwaukee Bucks fan. Lambeau Field is right there. The Milwaukee Brewers are my passion. I love college basketball. And I understand that the Bucks are the NBA franchise, but for me, living in Northeast Wisconsin, it is not the end-all, be-all, top-of-mind thing. But I remember being a kid and loving all things Bucks basketball and loving tracing this old Bucks logo in my paper, in my notebook when I wasn't paying attention in school. I think there's a difference between a Wisconsin sports fan being a Bucks fan and a Wisconsin sports fan going, can we just cut the crap? Like, can we just be done with this? Because now it's turning into a he said, she said thing. We'll hear from Doc later in the show, but he came out and said this is a man's game and it needs to be handled. Bobby Portis said there's dark clouds hanging around. And Giannis is over here going, well, I just want what I want. Well, bro, that's not how this works. You're an employee. You're in a business. You have a contract. And it It grinds my gears when we see somebody like a Giannis immediately this season call himself a villain and then ultimately attempt to put himself over the best interest of the franchise. He wants to play basketball with his brothers. The worst decision the Bucks could make right now is to put him on the floor. That would be the worst business decision in the history of sports. And why can't he understand that? That's what I don't understand.
So there's a lot there. I mean, so for starters, I think that it's just that's who Giannis is. He's always been that competitor of thinking, I don't care if we're out of it or not. I want to play basketball. I want to win. I'm competitive and I'm ready to go. And you're telling me I can't. And the Bucks are in the right in that sense of saying if they were being truthful and saying, yeah, we understand that, but one, we're trying to lose so we get a better draft pick. And two, you haven't made up your mind yet. You haven't told us what you're doing. And so if we're trading you, or even if we're not, and you're going to be back with us, you being healthy is what's best for this team, the organization, and you, right? And so that's a completely, to me, that's a completely different argument than everything else with how people are feeling. It is possible to appreciate and be a fan of a player and not agree with every single decision or thing that they say. That's the thing that's gotten me. I feel like if you go back to the beginning of this season, hell, if you go back to when Giannis put out the tweet from Wolf of Wall Street after the trade deadline, I mean, people were, that's my guy, like all back. And then something else comes out and it's, can we just move on from this? And I'm trying to figure out, I feel like these are two different sides of the coin talking at different times. It's like when there's reason to celebrate Giannis, then the people that don't like him all go away. And then you get a lot of people that are like, see, Giannis is great. Giannis is our boy. And the state loves him again. And then something like this happens. And then those people fall back. And then the people that were quiet before come forward and say, see, this is annoying. This is irritating. Giannis has got to leave. I'm done with him. Screw him. And I'm here in the middle going, I don't understand why you can't still appreciate the player, appreciate what he does, realize that before he got injured at the beginning of the season, he was having an absolutely fantastic season and go, but he's also being dumb here. Like he was also dumb after they got rid of Kidd. Like, do you remember when they got rid of Jason Kidd from coach? He was so upset about that. I'm kind of glad that they did because then they went on to win a championship. And I'm pretty sure that he was good with that too. He kind of wanted to win a championship too. So that's why I'm sitting here and I'm going, yeah, there are plenty of things that Giannis has been emotional about, that he's come out and he said that he's not happy about. That doesn't mean that every single thing that Giannis thinks or says needs to be gospel. But I don't understand the, you know what, I'm done with him, chuck him aside mentality. I just don't get it.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Lots of response coming in. I got a text on the side from my buddy Adam at Hooper Law. He says, just thinking about this whole Giannis conversation, and even though some fans may not watch basketball, people care because they listen to radio shows like yours, Trevor and Josh, and it's talked about at such frequency that we have no choice but to care. So they will say just move on because they don't want to hear about it over and over. They just want to hear about the team. And that's exactly the point I was making. We just want our team back. I just want the Bucks back. I want the Bucks to play
so that
basketball.
You cannot watch them. So that you cannot pay to watch. Like, so I'm telling you, even more people are going to not pay attention to the Bucks when Giannis is gone.
I don't know if that's true. I know that there's a lot of Bucks fans or Wisconsin sports fans in general. And remember, there's a lot to be said here about your disdain right now for Wisconsinites that seem to care all of a sudden about Bucks basketball. Well, hold on. There's a lot of people that care about Bucks basketball that just because they're not a P1 fan, like a lot of people in Milwaukee, that doesn't mean they don't have an opinion. And for me, it's franchise always. I love the Bucks. I love that Milwaukee has an NBA team. I love that Wisconsin has an NBA team. But watching this is a travesty. And Giannis is just simply making his own bed. And nobody is surprised. Literally no one watching this from the outside looking in is surprised to see Giannis doing this. That's where all of the people that are saying, well, we are who we thought he was. Because it was always Milwaukee first and this and that. But the ownership changes, and all of a sudden, Giannis is disgruntled. Yet, he's now coming out and saying it, but this has been hanging over our heads for a long time. People were ready to move on from Brett Favre when he came out and said, I'm going to retire. No, I'm not. I'm going to retire. Yes, no, I'm not. I'm actually retired. Hold on, I'm coming back. This feels a lot like that. I need to play 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5. I got to check the boxes, then I can come back and play. This time, he hyperextends his knee and has a bone bruise, which he did this summer. And on day 2 after that, he said, I'm ready to play. No, you're not. You, A, aren't ready. It's day 2. And B, you haven't checked the boxes. You need to play 3-on-3. That's how this works. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. Well, bud, well, then A, that's on you. And B, you're not going to play. There's a lot of times, Josh, Giannis is no different. This is where money and power collide. The people that are in Giannis's shoes, in any professional place, the A players, when they make the most money or they drive the most revenue, so often we all have stories at the workplace where the A player oversteps his or her bounds. Giannis is overstepping his bounds. He does not own the franchise. He's a player, an employee who has loved Milwaukee. Nobody's saying he hasn't. But when it comes to this whole basketball feud and playing with his brothers and so, enough. We're all just over it. Take a hike. Have a great career. We are grateful for what you helped us build here in Milwaukee. It's over. We'll never forget you. And let's move on.
So how are you going to feel if Giannis signs a Supermax?
Here?
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I don't think he's going to stay. I think this is over here.
More than likely it is. But I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to understand from the other side of this, like, as someone who, as you said, isn't a P1, doesn't watch it, isn't invested in it beyond having to talk about it. Like, how does that news, if you're ready to move on from Giannis, which I kind of get it from that standpoint, right? If you're not emotionally invested in the team, if they're not in your top 3 of the sports that you watch in the state, and you really only pay attention to them because you listen to a sports radio show and they talk about them, what is your next move if Giannis signs and stays? Like, what do you do then? Because you were ready to move on, and you were going to move on and then go back to just kind of being happy that the Bucks were being mentioned, if anything, in a little sports recap.
Well, I think the next question somebody would say was, well, is this going to continue? Because if all this crap continues, then we're ready to move on. But that's a good question. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. When we come back, we're going to review the Wisconsin sports weekend that was. And normally we go good, bad, ugly. We're going to stay on the ugly. This Giannis situation is ugly. We'll get your feedback. We'll read some more text. We'll continue the conversation about what it is in regards to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The Brewers are off to a great start. Another road series win, the first of the season, and now they head to Boston. They start that series tonight, 5:45, the first pitch, 5 o'clock. We'll get you ready. Lineups, all of it with Tommy Wartz, the leadoff show, 5 p.m. tonight here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht, inside Wisconsin Sports, recapping the weekend that was here in Wisconsin sports, the good, the bad, the ugly. And normally we go in that order, the good, the bad, the ugly. But today, the ugly takes over. And we'll start with the ugly and see if we even get to the bad and the good. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. And a plenty to review here in regards to reaction. So I think, Josh, let's just start at the top and kind of work our way down.
Sure.
The first piece here says, from the 920, should we be worried about the trade value for Giannis with this current drama going on? Absolutely.
Yeah, all of this plays a role in his trade value. The amount of time he's been injured this season, the drama, everything. All of it plays. I think the biggest thing is the fact that once they come out and they say the Bucks are going to be willing to trade Giannis, essentially at this point you're showing your cards and saying, because he didn't want to sign the Supermax. And so at that point you lose leverage over another team.
Do you think some of that is starting to change though? I know they came out and said, listen, he either signs the Supermax or we're going to trade him. At some point, we chat a little bit about this in the break, and that kind of transitions us to Jason in the 920 saying, I think your analysis about the Bucks and the Packers moving on is apples to oranges, Trev. The Bucks have nothing to fall back on. The Packers did. Analysis-wise here, it's about the players. What I'm analyzing is the franchise is bigger than the players. And we as Wisconsin sports fans look to the franchise and go, hey, Aaron Rodgers, you're an employee of the Green Bay Packers. You're under contract with the Green Bay Packers. You're the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. If you don't like the way the Green Bay Packers are being ran by the other employees that are your bosses, take it or leave it. That's literally what this comes down to. And so I'm comparing that to the current situation that is with Giannis, because Giannis came out and said over the weekend in an awesome article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel by Lori Nickel, who got him 1-on-1.5. She chatted with Giannis in a hallway, and the Bucks were real sure to keep someone standing right behind Giannis to listen to the entire interview before it went to print. And there's a lot of great things in here that Giannis is actually starting to admit that he's unhappy with the way the ownership has handled him, the new ownership. He's unhappy with how often he talks to the president, the new guy. He's unhappy with how little he's now talking to the GM. There's a lot that's changed in Giannis's tenure. And if Giannis is frustrated by all of that and doesn't want that to be the culture he plays in, it's all good, man. We've all had jobs that we want to move on from. But the problem lies that this feels, kind of to your point, Josh, with the comeback music and the piece from The Dark Knight saying you live long enough to become the villain. I don't know that Giannis understands how quickly it can change here in Wisconsin from, hey, bud, you're our hero. You brought us a championship. You deserve all the things. And, hey, dude, we don't owe you anything else. We're so grateful that you helped us be who we've become. But it's not above the franchise.
Yeah, I think there's two pieces there, though. I think first it's the way that fans move that quickly. I think they got to put things into perspective a little bit when they're saying those things and realizing first championship in the city in 50 years. I mean, and it was because of him. If you live in Milwaukee, like Doc Rivers said that, like when he said, like, the city has completely changed from when I lived here before. Yeah, that's right. It did. It changed a lot in the last 10 years. It changed a lot from, I mean, the Deer District didn't exist. That sure. area was not, there was so much that came.
What do we owe Giannis for that? What do we owe Giannis?
Just the the thanks of not essentially being like, yeah, Giannis isn't who we thought he was. He's just like every other NBA superstar, especially because of that ownership change. That's kind of my thing. I'm sitting here as a fan and I'm looking at the two sides and I'm like, all right, so I got Giannis over here who won me a championship with a 50 piece, has given me so much amazing content, been different, loved Milwaukee. And then I have Jimmy Haslam and Doc Rivers. Woof. You're telling me I'm supposed to be excited about that? You're telling me I'm supposed to be like, get out of here, Giannis. I'm done with you. Hey, Jimmy and Doc, let's go. Go Bucks. I can't. No. What? No. That's the problem, I think. And that ties into what Jason the 920 was saying about it being apples to oranges, is that I feel like with the Packers, when they were having their problems with Favre and the wishy-washy flip-flopping, Crocken, you had Rodgers to go back to. He was already there. There were people that were ready to see what Rodgers could do. When they were done with Rodgers, you had Love waiting in the wings. You were waiting to see what he could do. There's no one there right now. There's no bright light on the Bucks that I'm looking at that makes me go, you know what? It's time. The Bucks have a guy. They can figure this out. We're all just hoping that Doc Rivers and Jimmy Haslam can figure out how to best use whatever they have with Giannis to replace him and start this all over again. And I don't trust that. I don't trust that at all.
Also, two things could be true at the same time, to your point. We may have a lot of doubts when it comes to Jimmy Haslam and Wes Edens and what's going on with the new ownership group and the new president and John Horst in general with how he's going to piece the team back together. All of that can be in question. We have concerns, to say the least. And new breath, enough's enough. This Giannis thing is just too much. As Bucks fans, as Wisconsin sports fans, this isn't our first rodeo with all of this. We're sick of talking about the news or the no news or there's actual news. Over the weekend, this was the first time that I've seen Giannis come out and say, I don't want to be a part of the business. Okay, pause. Hold on. That's a big take. If you don't want to be a part of the business, then, bud, you got to figure that out for you and your family. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. We've all been in situations, and I said this back to my buddy Adam at Hooper Law. I feel the exact same way about this as I did with Rodgers. Enough's enough. You're employed by the team that signs your check. If you don't agree with what's happening, then quit. Move on. Ask for a trade. The employment of people is the same in professional sports as it is for you and I, Josh. It's just pay is different and the expectations are different. But at the end of the day, I think maybe that's what blue-collar Wisconsin is saying. Hey, guys, love it. Love everything that's been. And enough. I'm done.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of the fans that are saying that and are saying we're ready to move on aren't aware of what is coming, because to Jason 920's point, there's not a backup plan. There's not a succession plan in place.
But I don't know that matters to most fans right now, especially to your point, Josh.
I don't think it matters to the fans that aren't P1s, that aren't paying attention, that only care about the Bucks when we talk about them on the show.
Well, no. I'm saying that's what matters most is let's just rip off the Band-Aid. Enough. Let's figure out what we need to do with the franchise. Let the new ownership group have a clean slate. I'm not saying they're going to get it right. Not many people are. But at the end of the day, this isn't working. And so if you owned a business and you were in this place of going, got to start over, don't necessarily have a plan, but got to start over, then we need to make some changes, grin and bear it for a hot second, and then go, what's next? And that's where the situation is with Giannis and the Bucks. Well, I don't know what the plan is. Yeah. But this isn't working.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like when friends break up and you got to pick a side, and you could say, oh, no, we're not going to pick a side. Everyone ends up picking a side. You're forced to pick a side. And as much as I want to say I'm going with the Bucks, they're not giving me anything to look forward to. They're not giving me any hope or highlight. So if instead I'm hanging on to having Giannis and what he brought, and the fact that the Bucks are even being discussed because he exists, and my alternative is Jimmy Haslam, Doc Rivers, and the narrative becoming, man, the Bucks. This is proof that without Giannis, the Bucks organization is nothing. They should sell the team. Milwaukee doesn't even want basketball. We have someone from the 715 that literally today said the Bucks organization is trash. It's time for them to try harder to get an NHL team. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Those are going to be the narratives, and I know that because that's what they were. And so, if we had a different ownership group that made you feel something, that's the difference, right? The Brewers have lost a lot of really talented guys to free agency that they couldn't hold on to. Guys that we would have loved to have stayed here that didn't. They didn't choose Milwaukee. They chose the money. We knew it would happen. But the Brewers had succession plans. We trust the GM of the year. We know what this can be. We trust the Brewers organization. We trust the Packers organization. I don't know who right now is like gun-ho trusting the Bucks. And if that's the case, then I'm going to hold on to Giannis for as long as I can and enjoy that, because the misery of whatever a Jimmy Haslam run group is going to give me is that's the dark cloud. I am not looking forward to that.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Are you looking forward to what could possibly be real Wisco jerseys for the Milwaukee Brewers? We're doing it backwards accidentally. We saw the leak. We weren't fans of the colors. We saw the name on the front, and we had questions. Well, now the Brewers come out with a little video over the weekend that says, hey, let's take the scenic route. And, this isn't City Connect. This is State Connect. Does that change how you feel about the new jerseys that we think we've already seen, but we're definitely going to know come Thursday when the Brewers said they're going to pretty much reveal what it is that will be the new quote-unquote City Connect jerseys? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Is that bad or is that good? We'll finish the Wisconsin Sports Weekend recap when we get back. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Hey, don't forget, when the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate Frosty Classic. No purchase is necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after the win, so act fast and get that free small Frosty Classic at Wendy's.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, reviewing the weekend that was Wisconsin sports. Recap. We already covered the ugly, the honest situation, ugly. Now the good and the bad. The good news, Brewers off to a great start. Another series win and off to Boston to face a 2-7 Red Sox team. Sal, by the way, is okay. Murph said after the game yesterday he's going to be all right. Maybe just tweaked his lower back a little bit. Haven't we all? But let's talk about these jerseys. So we saw online that potentially, allegedly, the Wisco-themed Brewers jerseys was a leak in the whole City Connect redo for the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, over the weekend, the Brewers put out just a real quick video that said, let's take the scenic route. And it showed a whole bunch of things that would matter to Wisconsin. And the chatter online was, oh my God, the jerseys are real. Well, we'll find out, it looks like, on Thursday, April 9th. If we're connecting dots, that's when it appears the Brewers are going to announce what they would call their new City Connect jerseys. Josh, we both know how we felt, and it felt a little even Mets colory.
Mm-hmm.
But
which
now that
was
it's
from a leaked photo, so let's see how it looks. But
yeah, there's a photo. There was a video of somebody holding a hanger with the jersey on it, and they turned it around. I mean, there's been a number of different things now that would lead us to believe, without confirmation from the Brewers, that that's the new City Connect jersey. My question here, based on what we saw over the weekend, and it appears, again, trying to connect dots, that the Brewers are trying to connect with the entire state of Wisconsin. Fancy concept. In an effort to go, this isn't just Milwaukee's team. This is Wisconsin's team. And so I wonder two things. One, Josh, does that make it better? Does that jersey actually fit better in our minds? And two, is this at all connected to Murph's statewide tour that he did this hot stove season?
So two points there. I'm going to start with your second question first. If it's connected to Murph's statewide tour, the jersey came first. Because I know from talking to multiple people, like, those are not things that get done in 6 months. Like, this was probably being planned out for at least a year. Like, the back and forth and designs on this, it was not something to where they were like, hey, that statewide tour went really well with Murph. Let's do a Connect jersey. But like, no,
Sure.
That wouldn't work. So if it is connected, they went, hey, we got these jerseys coming out. We're going to be doing this, making this campaign, this marketing campaign, saying that the Brewers are more than just about Milwaukee. They're Wisconsin. Let's also have Pat Murphy go do a statewide tour. That could have been if they do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
To your first point, I think that I need to see it in person. I really need to see it in person to know how it's going to look. To me, the hat didn't look as bad, but also I'm much more a hat guy than a jersey guy. So I'll be interested to see that. The only thing that keeps bugging me about the marketing idea is that you chose the City Connect jersey to talk about the state.
That bothers you?
Well, it's because it's not the State Connect.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is, I think, from the Brewers.
But it's
we hear you, Wisconsin. This isn't just Milwaukee's team. This is Wisconsin's team.
Correct.
So they're essentially pivoting it away from a City Connect to a State Connect. That bothers you?
It bothers me because the whole point of it is for it to be a City Connect. So like I don't mind the idea of them having that campaign and trying to put that out there, that the Brewers go beyond Milwaukee and they're the whole state of Wisconsin. But like for a jersey that's supposed to, like, literally it's called the City Connect. You're connecting with your city jersey. And then you're like, nope, let's do the state.
I love that.
Oh, I
love that.
To me, it's like that wasn't the assignment.
Well,
the assignment was City.
They changed the homework. See, I love it when a team like the Brewers pivots on something like this. We see you, MLB, and your whole City Connect, and we raise you an entire state. That is amazing in my book. I love that the Brewers are Wisconsin's team. And Murph said that through and through when he got done with his statewide tour. He went to the corners of the state, La Crosse, Eau Claire, Wausau, Green Bay, Milwaukee, and he said he was blown away by how much Wisconsin as a whole cares about the Milwaukee Brewers. So for them, again, all of this is hypothetical. We'll find out what all this means on Thursday, but it appears that they're pivoting away from what is the prototypical City Connect theme and going, we see you, and from that 70s show, hello, Wisconsin.
Yeah. I think it's also important to point out that the City Connect jerseys in general, like they usually all get a lot of grief. Like if you go across and you look at some of the ones just across Major League Baseball, very, very rarely are the ones that are just like a slam dunk and people are like, yes, that is awesome. It's a tough thing to do.
Did you like the combo of the jerseys and the gray pants? Did it grow on you at all over the weekend?
No, I still prefer the powder blue.
I thought it was okay.
It's okay.
Now that we saw it in action, I thought it looked pretty good. The old helmets with the yellow front, the powder blue jerseys, the gray pants. It didn't look wrong. I was worried that it was going to look wrong. You know who's rarely wrong? Tim Allen, the franchise. He'll join us next to talk about the weekend that was the Brewers. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Stay here.
It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by Gravely Zero-Turn Commercial Mowers. Sunny conditions today with a high of 44 degrees. It's currently 39 degrees here in Milwaukee.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Down the left field line, Lofton over into the corner. Lofton couldn't get it. The Brewers will strike first. Yelich to the opposite field. He's on his way to third. It's a 2-out run-scoring triple. Now Gary Sanchez will try to add on. 3-2. Deep in the left. Gary Sanchez way up, way out. Goodbye. To left. That's well struck. Lofton back. Lofton won't catch it. One hops the wall and watch Lockridge run. Here he comes to the plate. And he scores another 2-out run for the Crew. Blake Perkins, RBI double. It's a 4-2 ball game. Contreras has not been retired this afternoon. Hard hit, base hit through the Toronto infield. This one played a couple from third to Rang. Right behind him comes Rengifo. Into right center field. Jake Bowers delivers a huge RBI base hit. Blake Perkins is back. Blake Perkins is there, and the Brewers win another series. 3 in a row to start 2026. Back and forth rubber match today in Kansas City, and Milwaukee holds on 8-5.
See of Brewers TV. That voice, a little bit different. That's Josh Mauer. Pinch hitting for an under-the-weather Jeff Levering. We're actually scheduled to chat with Josh after we chat with the franchise himself, Tim Allen. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Inside Wisconsin Sports. Hour number 3, Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
And joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. We think he still hosts a post-game show. I think he had a minute or two off this. You know what's funny, Tim? Yesterday, we're on the way back. We were on the way down for Easter, and I went to turn on what Tommy does beforehand, right? In the leadoff show.
Yeah.
It's Easter. It's not on. Well, then we're on the way back, and the game finishes, and I know that after the last pitch, you make the switch. And I turned off all the things in my vehicle, went to go. Oh, it's Easter. And now tonight, you can't do the show either because of the national championship. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I want to do a post-game show, and the Brewers are good. They're 7-2. They win 3 series, won a sweep. Best road team in baseball in the regular season last year. So that continues with a series win in Kansas City. Well, here's the deal, guys, and good morning to everybody. We've been through this many, many times over the couple of decades we've been doing the post-game show, and especially early on in the season, it's sort of this juke and jive, hit and miss. And in terms of shows, and over the years, it's either been, sometimes, basketball coverage, it's been hockey coverage, it's been a lot of different things. So we're a little bit used to this getting out of the box, a little inconsistent with when we're on the air. So that being said, here's the good kicker here on this thing. So some of this has to do with our network. Now, this is the first time, and I've been screaming about it since 2008. getting this post-game show on a network. Now, again, all of us sportscasters, all of us sports talk show hosts, we all believe we're great and we want to be on a network and everyone's going to love us. But again, I've spoken to a lot of people in the ivory tower, if you will, over the course of these years, and it's just never materialized for many, many different reasons. So all that being said is that, now that it is on a network, we're going to have to do things in terms of strategy a little bit different. Sometimes we'll have to wait 10 or 12 or 17 minutes to get on the air. Won't immediately be on the air because you guys know this, being in the business, it's a hard in or a hard out. We need to schedule this out for our affiliates. So it's a little bit of a trade-off when, a lot of our stations will handle, high school coverage. A lot of our stations will handle, Westwood One and their coverage of the NCAA tournament, which is why we are not on again tonight. And I know I'm breaking the old standard rule in radio. Don't ever tell the listeners what they don't get, so, but I want to give you a heads up. We'll get back on track. We'll get into a rhythm starting tomorrow, game 2 in Boston.
All right, so then, Timmy, let's talk about the rhythm that these Brewers are in. They take 2-3 from the Royals, and let's start with the positives before we get into any questions or concerns. This team seems right away. Different guys are going to step up when they need to. Garrett Mitchell being the entire offense in that first game on Saturday.
Yeah, 5 RBIs in game 1, had an RBI in game 2, 6 on the day. And, a really, really candid piece there from Pat Murphy saying he didn't think he was ready, Garrett Mitchell. But then the aforementioned Ivory Tower said, we think he can be one of your best baseball players. And so, and I remember in Arizona a few weeks ago asking Matt Arnold, hey, when's the last time you disagreed with Pat Murphy on an issue? And he said this morning. And it was 9 o'clock at that point in the morning.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, there are going to be healthy disagreements. And I think that does bode well for a team when you get all these different angles. But, man, Mitchell, now let's play the if game, because that's what everybody does at the beginning of a season. If the rotation does this, if the offense does this, if this guy does this, let's play the if game with Garrett Mitchell. You think about that when Jackson Churio and Andrew Vaughn come back. If Mitchell is one of your offensive studs, he's got some speed, he's got all the tools, he's got some defense. He needs to cut down on some of the strikeout percentages, but man, wouldn't that be big time for the Brewers if indeed, he was for real in terms of 277 hitter, on base percentage of 350, got some power in there, maybe at the end of the season. I'm just saying, what if at the end of the season, Garrett Mitchell comes up with, 16 to 18 homers and knocks in 60 to 75, 80 runs. Ooh, man, offense is going to be even better.
So off to Boston, we ship to a 2-7 Red Sox team. Does the doubleheader that we played over the weekend and then a quick turnaround to play a day game on Easter, does that hurt the Brewers headed to Boston, Tim?
A little bit, it does. You got Woody on the mound tonight, so he's not super stretched. In other words, strange things can happen, and maybe there's, a 6-pitch inning, and 2 innings later there's a 9-pitch inning, so he can, rest on that a little bit. So that could happen, but it did hurt a little bit. Although Sprout, for as clunky as he has been in his first couple of starts, he did go 3 2/3 in that doubleheader. And Logan Henderson, being the 27th man, soaked up a couple of innings. So you got almost 6 innings there from presumably one guy, really, when you look at it that way, because now you're back to a 26 tonight. A little bit, and once in a while, these pitchers, now we're seeing this early on. It's 9 games in, guys, but they're number 2 in relief innings. That's got to lighten up a little bit. However, I remember in 2024, Pat Murphy in May of 24 made the comment, man, we'll deal with tomorrow. I'm trying to win tonight. That was the big win tonight. So he was going to go to his bullpen no matter what, and then do the back and forth. Him and Matt Arnold do the back and forth from Nashville and get some fresh arms in here. They'll give me some fresh arms when I need it, but right now I'm trying to win a ball game. Now it was helpful that there was a 6-inning outing from Mizorowski. You did have 5 solid again from Kyle Harrison, but you're going to have to start stretching just a little bit more out of the rotation guys.
Well, it doesn't help too when then you have 3 or 4 pitchers in the 7th in yesterday's game.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit, Tim, about Sproat though. We talked about him earlier in the show, and Trevor had said, that's kind of the negative. How are we not worried about Sproat? I said, I don't know that I'm necessarily there yet. What's the leash on Sproat in your mind? And at what point do we start to worry and go, all right, they got to figure this out or get this guy back down to AAA?
I think it's another 2 to 3 starts.
Mm-hmm.
We have to keep in mind how Quinn Priester started out until Hook got his mitts on him and just kind of sort of fixed things a little bit. So I would wait just a couple of more. But, you have Robert Gasser. You saw Logan Henderson over the weekend. And you have, Quinn Priester that's going to be back in, I would say, 3 weeks or so, 3+ weeks.
Hopefully.
So, yes. So, yes, hopefully. Yeah, I agree with you. But he's got to pitch to some competition and not just his own, his own affiliates. But I would say by the time Priester's back would be put up or shut up time for Sproat.
Yeah, well, I don't think that Sproat's going to be Priester's getting his spot back. So even if Sproat figures it out in the next couple starts, if that's the move, Priester's getting his spot back over Sproat.
Well, and two things play into this. Number one, would they want to go with a 6-man? Once these off days start dripping away here, there's an off day every week, I think, all the way till June. That does help. And if you add a 6-man, now some rotation guys, they don't like that. They want 4 days rest, and on the 5th day, they want to pitch. So you have that, and you have how taxed is the bullpen. So if the bullpen is starting to get taxed a little bit, that plays a part in this, that you may need one of those Bryce Wilsons. You remember a few years ago, he was that long man. He could step in and start, or he could go and, if a game gets away from you, you could go with that. Now, is that DL Hall and Oates? Just thought I'd throw that one out. That's my new one.
Got it.
Got it. All right.
Got it.
Could it be DL Hall? Could it be Brandon Sproat? I think one of them, ultimately, given everybody healthy, one of them will be that long man.
Tim Allen, the franchise himself, joins us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. There's a little bit to say before we transition to Boston about some of the guys hitting or lack thereof in the series against the Royals. Joey Ortiz is back to being Joey Ortiz.
Come on,
Rake
Joe
Bowers
Hayward,
is back to Jake Bowers. Come on. What about Bryce Terang? Is there anything to worry about there? He went 1 for 11 over the weekend.
Yeah, over the weekend. No. And that, you just look at his approach, you look at what he's been doing through the bulk of the season here, hit into some tough outs over the weekend, but that barrel is finding a baseball, and it's going opposite, which is, and listen, I know this, I don't know if this means anything. I think it does. To a lot of people, it's like, that's a bunch of hogwash. The sound of the ball off certain guys' bats, it's incredible with Bryce right now. It just is. He's barreling. No, I don't think there's a big concern there. Now with Shohei Ohtani's, he needs a game. He needs a game. Come on, Joey. Don't let up here. Just get yourself a game. Go 2 for 4 or something in a start tonight or tomorrow if he is indeed starting one of these next 2 games. We presume he will. But yeah, he needs a pick me up.
I didn't see this incorrectly, right? He did have another opportunity with the bases loaded.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Did it? How did that make you? Did your skin crawl a little bit before that at bat? It's still, to me, it does. I'm like, oh, of course, it's Joey Ortiz. Okay, of course.
All year last year, it was now's the one. Every time he'd come up with the bases loaded, now he'll find a gap and 3 runs are going to score. And it just hardly ever, if ever, happened yet last year. But 5 for 31. I mean, you got to do a little bit better than that. How about just lay one down and maybe crack the seal a little bit? How about just a little flare like he had opening day? Remember that? A little flare base hit to knock in a run or two. Get one of those. Get a little lucky, Joey. But yeah, I mean, the bases loaded with Joey Ortiz. It's an anomaly, but I mean, that's just baseball. The stars line up.
Tim Allen on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Tim, coming up after we chat with you, we're actually going to chat with Josh Mauer, who made his Brewers TV debut this weekend, pinch hitting for one and only Jeff Levering.
Trevor, he's becoming a really good broadcaster. He is. And I'm not saying he was a bad one when he was hired a few years ago, but he is really, I like him on the Bucks call when he fills in for the Bucks. I like him on the radio. He's starting to fit in with Grindle and Levering when he's over there. I've only met him just briefly one time, but I don't know how the Brewers do it with these broadcasters over the years. Now, again, it's tough to measure guys with Bob Uecker and Pat Hughes. I mean, I think we could say that they're amazing. Unfortunately, Pat Hughes is calling games for the wrong team, but those guys are good. But you go back to Jim Powell and Corey Provis and Joe Block and all these guys. This is like a feeding ground for really good young broadcasters, including Levering. I think he's one of the best. I think he's the most underrated broadcaster in the nation. Again, I'm into broadcasters, so that's just my opinion. But Josh you're gonna have fun with Josh. He's like I said, he's becoming a really good broadcaster.
So before we let you go tonight, Woody, what do we need to see from him that continues the path of he's back?
Health. I mean, you're gonna have to stay healthy, and it's just I'm nervous. I was nervous his first start. I'm going to be nervous for the next handful of starts. I just am. And I'm not going to hide that. I'm nervous about that. At any given time, any pitch. And I hate to live on that sword or on that fence. But my goodness, just health. He's got the moxie to get it done. He's pitching a little bit different. But I would say if you can get an out or two in the 6th inning out of Woody tonight and 3 runs or less, we'll take it. With the way this offense is rolling, we'll take that for sure. And given full health after.
Tomorrow, when it's the last pitch, make the switch to the franchise Tim Allen. He'll be back on the air tomorrow with the post-game show. Tonight, though, 5 o'clock, Tommy Wartz and the leadoff show as the Brewers head to Boston. Timmy, we love you, buddy. We'll hear you again tomorrow. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Tim.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. When we come back, out goes Tim, in comes Josh Mauer. Brewers Radio Network is where we always hear Josh, but not this weekend. He made his debut on Brewers TV. We'll catch up with him, get his take on where the crew is at. And really, we want to make sure is Jeff okay? We'll ask him that too. We hope. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stay here. The Brewers are off their first road series win of the season and now head to Boston for a series starting tonight. Get the starting lineups and get ready for the first pitch with Tommy Wartz and the leadoff show this evening, 5 o'clock on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Over the weekend, inside Wisconsin Sports, Trevor and Josh, we heard from a different Josh on Brewers TV. Not that that Josh would have been there. He's not. Yeah,
I wasn't doing play-by-play.
No, but that Josh is joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Was that your first time on TV, Josh, for the Milwaukee Brewers? Did you make your Brewers TV debut?
First one doing play-by-play. I had filled in on the pre and the post, actually not since my first season, I think. 2022, I had been on TV with Tim Dillard and Vinny Rotino from the set at American Family Field. But no, I'd never done play-by-play with the Brewers before.
Well, you nailed it. Nailed it.
Thank you.
So first things first, thanks for joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Thank you for pinch hitting for Jeff Levering. Where are you sitting tonight?
I should be back on the radio. Back in my native habitat tonight. Jeff is feeling better. And so
can hopefully, you tell us, Josh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully we're all back to normal for this Red Sox series.
Good.
How did that all go down? Like, can you tell us about how you found out you were hopping on TV and when they told you and how that all happened?
I found out about 50 minutes before the doubleheader on Saturday. So it was a late game time decision. And it was just, you feel awful because your friend is under the weather and wasn't feeling well enough to work. And you guys know this. Anybody who knows Jeff Levering knows that he's not going to miss work unless it's absolutely dire. So Jeff wasn't feeling well and he wanted to do it. I know he did. And unfortunately just wasn't able to give it a go. So yeah, they shuffled things around very close to first pitch before that doubleheader in Kansas City on Saturday. And then, just kind of had to run with it.
You and Lane flip a quarter? Like, did you draw straws?
Yeah, right.
No, I think it was a collaborative decision. There were a lot of people involved, and I was, I guess, one of them, but not really. It was just more like, hey, you're going to do this, and Lane, you're going to do this. And, we both just said whatever is best for the group. We look, Lane and Jeff and I and Sophia and everybody that are involved in the Brewers broadcast operation, we're all very close. So we felt for Jeff. I think that was the first thing. It's like, oh, our friend doesn't feel well. This stinks. And then how can we just get through this situation right now?
Josh Mauer, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Luckily, the Brewers made it really easy on you this weekend in regard to, winning, which is good. They're doing that pretty well. So what's your take after the first 3 series of the season, now headed to Boston?
It looks a lot like last year, doesn't it? I mean, that's the biggest takeaway is that it seems like you're watching the same team play with different players. And I think that's a great thing if you're a Brewers fan. It's a great thing if you're the team, if they can be anything what that 2025 group was and what they accomplished. I mean, think about it. They won 97 games. They were the best team in baseball for the regular season. So if they're on their way to that, then fantastic. Now it's early. We've played 3 series. So you don't want to draw too many conclusions. But the way that they've been able to work counts, drive opposing pitchers crazy, and then the pitching and the defense seems like the same thing that we've been used to for this recent stretch where the Brewers have been so successful, that the pitching is always solid and the defense as well. They've only made 1 error for the first 9 games of the season. So I do think you're looking at a lot of the same blueprint with, again, some different faces that are going to be involved in some key spots, but they seem to fit right in so far.
So, Josh, tell us going into this Boston series, because I personally have kind of picked things out of each series that I've liked and not liked and that I've been excited about. What are you looking for in the start of this series against Boston?
I'm looking for warm clothing. That's what I'm looking for, Josh. It's going to be freezing.
I've not checked the temperatures. How
did you not pack right?
Yeah, well, no, I've got codes. I just listen. I'm not a huge fan of working in uh, substandard temperatures for a broadcaster. And this is not. I love Fenway Park. It is such a cool ballpark environment, place to call a baseball game, and for a player, a place to play a game. It's the oldest ballpark in Major League Baseball. It's on the National Register of Historic Landmarks, and it should be. But it's going to be in the 30s during these games, and that's not baseball weather. So I'm sure the players will be bundled up as well as we will in the booth. But aside from that, to get more to your question about the actual baseball, I'm looking for Brandon Woodruff to take another step forward tonight. I thought he was good in his first outing, but he and the team know that he can be even better than he was against Tampa Bay last week at home. So let's see how he attacks the Red Sox lineup tonight that's not performing very well coming into this series. The Red Sox have the worst record in Major League Baseball. Again, small sample size. Don't want to draw conclusions about what kind of year they're going to have, but right now they're 2-7. Keep them on the mat. Go after them. Woody gets the ball to start the series and set the tone, and I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Josh Mauer on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Someone on our Nicolay Law talking text line, which is 414-677-1250, said, hey, Josh, do you get to keep that sweet jacket the Brewers gave you over the weekend in KC?
No. It's funny. We've gotten more feedback about those jackets than just about anything else we did during that doubleheader. That was also a late addition to my wardrobe, and it was not a permanent addition to my wardrobe. I promise you that. The terrific clubhouse manager for the Brewers, Jason Schauger, came up in a pinch. So here's the little peek behind the curtain on that. There are outfits now that Brewers TV employees are going to be wearing for whatever broadcast they're doing that day. Any given broadcast, there's a specific wardrobe that they're going to be adorned with. And Jeff had his on, but Jeff, in the state that he was in, I was not about to take his quarter zip and put it on me. So we called an audible there, and Jason Schauger came and helped out for the day.
Nice. Yeah, probably a good call. A good call by you. Can you talk a little bit, Josh, just about the offense? What seems to be, it's not the same guys, right? Like we saw Garrett Mitchell in that first game was all the RBIs. He was all the runs, but it's not like from the start of the season, the whole entire offense has been just Garrett Mitchell. Can you talk a little bit about just this team offensively kind of taking turns being the highlight?
First of all, if you had on your preseason prediction card that 9 games into the year, Garrett Mitchell would have the second most runs batted in all of Major League Baseball, raise your hand. Yeah,
no one does.
Incredible start for Garrett, the way that he's come off of injury. Garrett's hardly played for 2 years. And even Pat Murphy said after game 1 of the doubleheader on Saturday, I had to be convinced by the front office that carrying him on the opening day roster was the right thing to do for this team. And the front office, thank goodness, convinced him that, look, we know Garrett can be a run producer because when he's been healthy, he has done that. The last home run that he had hit before game 1 of that doubleheader Saturday was the game-winning home run in game 2 of the NL wildcard series against the Mets 2 years ago. That's the last time he hit a home run in a major league game. So he's had big moments, but he's just not been able to be on the field. Garrett's been great, but it's kind of going back to what I was saying about the carryover from 2025. I think the great thing about this Brewers lineup is you're not going to have a superstar, but 1 through 9, they're going to battle your butt off. It could be anybody on any given night that delivers the biggest swings. And you can already come up with what feels like countless examples of an inning that didn't start well, 2 out, nobody on. This was the case time and again over the weekend in Kansas City. But then that third batter doesn't give up on the inning, figures out a way to get on base. And even if you don't score a run, you add up to the pitch count for the opposing starter and help get them out of the game quicker. That's what they do. Their mantra is just kind of become drag them into the mud, make them They yell it from the dugout. There's a great article written by Kurt Hoke talking about Sal Frelick yelling, drag him from the dugout while people are batting. And they're yelling that to the hitters, talking about what you should do to the opposing pitcher. They must be so frustrating to face right now. And you hope that they are able to keep that up throughout the course of the season.
It seems like a fun bunch to be around, Josh. What's your favorite part of being a part of the crew?
I think man, it's hard to pinpoint one thing, Trevor. Being around Pat Murphy day in and day out certainly comes to mind as being at the top of the list, because just it's so unique, his perspective and his personality. You never know what you're going to hear from him. You never know if he's going to pull a tortoise out of his pocket. You never know if he's going to start
literally.
Literally, right. You can go into one of his media sessions and learn about a relationship that he's had with a famous, who knows, actor, comedian, athlete, that you're like, well, Pat Murphy's like Forrest Gump. He knows everybody. He's been everywhere. I think that's part of it, just being to experience and be in that orbit of Murph, and being around a group as an organization that treats everybody on a level playing field. And I'm not sure that that's the case with all 29 other major league teams. It's a real kind of family atmosphere that's fostered in and around the Brewers clubhouse and the front office. And that comes from the top, from Mark Atanasio to Rick Schlesinger and everybody else that works, Marty Ronsky, that work in the front office, baseball operations side of things, starting with Matt Arnold and Matt Klein and all of the chieftains, as Pat Murphy says, in the ivory tower. the tone that is set in this within this organization that trickles down to low-level people like me, you always feel included and welcomed. And that's whether you're walking around the ballpark or you're going into the clubhouse or you're going into the press box. So for me, that's the best part of the day-to-day. It's the off-field stuff. It's not being on the air. It's just feeling like you're a part of everything.
Josh Bauer, the Milwaukee Brewers radio network. That's where he's going to head back to when the Brewers start tonight in Boston at 5:45. Josh, thanks for jumping on. We appreciate you. Oh, before we go, what, do you not know how to play cribbage? I thought, if you're pinch hitting for Jeff Levering, buddy, and Vinny's in the booth, there needs to be a cribbage match.
Guilty as charged. I don't know how to play. That's a fact. And it's funny because as Jeff showed up on Saturday morning not feeling well, we knew he was under the weather. I said, hey, you guys still going to play your cribbage match? And he said, no. And I said, wow, this must not be good, because you're not going to.
That was the first sign.
Yeah, things were not feeling great for Jeff, poor Jeff. But again, he's feeling better today. I know.
Good. Well, stay warm, go Crew, and we'll see you when you get back to Milwaukee in a few days.
Thanks, guys. Great chatting.
Thanks, Josh.
Josh Bauer joins us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. When we get back, we'll chat with Rami Makloff from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff as we cross over with our friends and finish up an awesome few hours of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hey, reminder, Wisconsin Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh is a podcast. Head to wisportsradio.com. Find any show, any hour, anytime, whenever it's right for you, there on the website or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Just search Inside Wisconsin Sports. We cross over with Rami Makloff, 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. Rami, I hope you had a great Easter weekend. If you're anything like me, you got some good laughs with some family and friends.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
However, the thing that made me laugh the hardest over the weekend, outside of this Giannis thing, which I think is just a joke, apparently your Skip needs to figure out how to chew tobacco.
Oh, I saw that.
Did
yeah.
you see him? What was that?
That was.
For those that didn't see it, Craig Counsell had a moment that, shocker, somebody caught on camera where I don't know what's going on here. He's got some chew in his mouth. I think he accidentally. I'm going to gag if I keep watching it. I have it on my side.
It was just the worst timing of, like, you think about like the TV producer director that goes, all right, camera 2, go to camera 5. Like, all right, go to camera 2 with Counsell. And then just, what did he freeze? Like, the second you see the guy choking on seeds, you go, camera
Cut
4.
to camera 4. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Get off of camera 2, and he didn't. He just froze there as he's.
I mean, people choking is hilarious, and I don't blame Brewers fans for like jumping on this and laughing at it for one second. I find it funny, but it's really just like we've all had that, right? Like I'll be drinking water or coffee and have a moment like that. You know what I mean? Like just wrong pipe. You know what I mean? It's not,
okay, true. But then all of the comments were like, "Oh, I remember my first dip."
Yeah,
Everybody remembers their first dip,
and I appreciate the trolling.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Have you ever dipped before, you two? And if you did, do you remember it?
Yes, I do.
Never dipped.
It's disgusting.
Okay. But you exactly know when you did it, Rami, and what the effects were and all of that?
I mean, yeah, there were a handful of times at least. Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah. I think I've learned my lesson. Josh, don't do it.
Nope. Nope.
I mean, if you haven't by now, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there.
I just did a somersault. Now you want me to dip? Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't start that.
Yeah.
I can take you back to exactly how old I was, where I was when I did it my first time, and I have only tried it twice after that. Once more with the old chewing tobacco that didn't work for me. Like, it's not a thing. And then all of a sudden these zins come out. Like, everybody's zinning these days. I'm like, oh, maybe that's different. Popped one of those in my mouth.
Is it? I've never tried the zin.
Not different. It's not different. I Houdini that get together was in bed trying not to have the world spin off of its axle. Awful.
It kicked your butt. Yeah.
Do you still have to spit with the zins like you do with a chew or like?
Oh yeah, don't they make those now?
I don't know.
Spitless?
Yeah, I don't.
I think I saw something.
I don't think digesting it is good. Yeah.
I remember one of the first times I ever dipped. Kids are in school right now, right? They're not listening to us, are they?
Spring break.
Yeah, I think it's spring break.
Oh yeah, that's right. Then maybe I shouldn't tell this story.
No, go ahead.
We were in gym class, like you'll have like a tennis portion of the semester.
Okay.
And I was like, buddy of mine had some dip. He was like, hey, you want to try this? And we were outside we were playing tennis. And I remember like dipping while we were playing tennis in gym class and getting like woozy and the court's spitting on me.
He became Andre Agassi out there. It was that was the key. The best day of gym class you ever had.
But I think if you're of a certain age, and Trevor, how old a man are you, if you don't mind me asking?
42. I'll be 43 this month.
So you're old enough to remember when like every baseball player was dipping. So if you're a person of a certain age, you saw that as a kid, where like everybody out on the field had a big sheet full of tobacco chew, and so of course, like
that's why Big League Chew became such a big thing, man.
Yeah, and so of course, like you're gonna want to try it, which is that just proves that like we are so what's the word I'm looking for? Impressionable as youngsters, that we see our heroes doing something and we're like, oh, I want to do that. You know what I mean? So
if every youngster could only see what happens when it goes down the wrong pipe, Counsell is like, not a good call.
Do you think that when that happened, for the 5 seconds that happened, because like it literally, you see him recover, like it was from the start of the choke cough,
they got the whole thing
to the. Yeah. Do you think he in his head he goes, God, I hope they didn't get that on TV. Like that has to be your first thought as you're sitting there.
And when he took the dip out of his mouth, he felt like all of us had felt like, God, this is a bad idea.
Mistake.
Has Craig? I don't remember him dipping.
I don't
is this
either.
a new thing? And do we even know that it was tobacco? Because I'm pretty sure they banned.
That's what I thought too. So that's why I thought it was seeds. But
it wasn't seeds.
No,
you could see the pouch come out at the end.
Oh, really? Okay.
Listen, if he was choking on seeds, this somehow gets better.
All right, now I gotta find this again. I watched it only a million times yesterday.
This is Steve. Boy, do I have a story. I remember it like yesterday. 8th grade, northern Wisconsin, new school, trying to be cool. Red man was. I was not informed that you weren't supposed to swallow the old red man. Enough said. Oh, you puked all over the place, did you, Stevie? Well done.
Yeah.
How was your weekend, Rami? Anything new in regards to your knowledge of sports that you saw over the weekend? And maybe can you fix this? Actually, you know what? Don't fix the Giannis thing.
No, I want to fix the Giannis thing. I want to fix the Giannis thing.
What's the fix?
I mean, the fix is $275 million, Trevor. That's
really not to Giannis.
I mean, that is always a possibility of a fix. And it's, look, man, this isn't. It's not. I don't know if it's as ugly as some want to make it out to be, but it's also not what you want. It's not how you want to close out your season or potentially the entire era of the greatest player in the history of your franchise. But I mean, I don't know that it's like that. It's the last straw in the Giannis Bucks relationship, and it's a teaser. This is what we're coming out of the gates talking about on the 9 to noon program. And I don't know that you have to take a side. Like everybody here feels like you have to take a side on this whole thing. And I don't know that you necessarily do. I kind of understand where both sides are coming from. You know what I mean? I understand the motivations
Wisconsin
of everybody
does
involved.
a pretty good job of taking sides.
Yeah. I mean, I think all fan bases do. And just society today. We're like, no, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. And it's usually a little bit of everybody's fault if we're being real about it. You know what I mean? Or it's nobody's fault. And it's just everybody's doing what's in their best interest. And I think that's kind of where we are on this thing.
Well, the good news is politicians are involving themselves in college athletics now and executive orders and all. So, I mean, that has solution written all over it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because if we know one thing about our government, it's that they fix problems.
Yeah.
You know, and they do it promptly. They do it promptly. Yeah, for sure. So that's a good thing. I'm glad that's happening.
Yeah.
Did you have a good Easter?
Trevor made a joke during the show saying, like, yeah, maybe we should have the government get involved with the, and I was like, no. This, even as a joke, no, stop, no.
It was a pretty chill Easter, Trevor. I had some ham. I made some mac and cheese. You know, had some hard-boiled eggs for breakfast. The usual. I didn't. No alcoholic beverages were consumed this weekend. Just kind of hanging out with the family and enjoying everyone's company.
I love that.
No somersaults were done.
No somersaults were done. Trevor, how much would you pay to see Josh's somersault?
Oh, a lot. I actually was surprised he was out of the hospital and able to make it to the show.
I texted him. I said, if Tommy is connecting with you in the morning, you know that it didn't go well. I'm just saying I want to see someone else do it. I told Trevor, I said, you don't even got to give me the proof. Just tonight, when you're home with the boys, do a somersault. Like, see if you can do a somersault. And the amount of people on the Nicolay Law fan talking text line today that were like, hell no, I am not trying to do a somersault. There were people that said, I will try doing a cartwheel before I do a somersault.
Oh, no. I've never been able to execute a cartwheel. I don't know about you guys. Never been able to execute a cartwheel. That's way too much.
How'd you tear your rotator cuff? Well, you see, I was 42 and I got challenged to try to do a cartwheel.
Nope.
That's
give me the somersault. Put me on the ground already. Let me roll. If I did one, you guys could do it.
Yeah, I think I could do a somersault. I might eat those words, but I think I could do a somersault.
I don't think I'm trying. I just don't. Listen, my head and neck going first with 290 pounds following it. I'm good. I don't need to prove myself. I mean, I'm happy Josh did it. Don't get me wrong.
Just
but
tuck and roll. You just tuck and roll.
That's what I said. You just tuck and roll.
Just tuck and roll, Trevor.
All right, 9 to noon with John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Brandon Snide. They're coming up next. Our thanks to Josh Maurer, Tim Allen, and all of you for joining us on a Monday morning. We're trying to fix the solutions, the problems, and we're not getting anywhere, but we'll try again tomorrow morning. We're inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll see you tomorrow.
Because we're not done yet.